All right, I'm going to switch over into my demo environment now, and let's take a run through AppDNA for a little bit. So as you can see, I've already launched AppDNA in the interest of saving time and in the spirit of food TV. I've already launched AppDNA. In fact, I've already imported, looks like 12 applications, 12 MSI files into my AppDNA console. Prior to importing the applications, you'd see a browse button right up here, and that's what enables you to browse to your MSI library. And you select the MSIs that you want to test. Of course, we also could select EXEs and package them up through the packager within AppDNA here. And once you import those applications, the importation in the analysis of the applications is a variable. It's going to depend on how many applications you have, how large the applications are, how fast your connection is to the database that AppDNA is going to use for the analysis. So that's why I like to pre-bake these applications before I do any sort of analysis. As you can see, I've got all the applications selected. I could deselect some applications if there are ones that I don't actually want to run through my analysis. And I could simply click on Analyze. And Analyze is actually going to do that. It's going to run these MSI files, these applications, against a bunch of algorithms. That is the magic, the mystery sauce behind AppDNA. We'll take a look at what some of those algorithms do in just a second. But after my analysis, after my import and analysis, what I would do is I would actually drill right down into the reports for these applications. And you can see that there are several reports listed on the left-hand side. We're going to look at several of these reports, but the first one I'll take a look at is called the effort calculator. So the effort calculator gives you kind of an overview of where your applications sit against the tests that you've run. And you can see here already that I've run testing against Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and I can run it against Citrix app disks as well. So we can see that I have a total of 10 applications that I analyzed. One came up for red against Windows 7. If I look at the Windows 8, again, same indication, 9 were green, 1 was red. Now, these are just applications that I had laying around. They're not necessarily critical line of business apps. But if I look at Windows 10, I'm going to see the same thing. 1 application is red, 10 applications come up green, and I'm looking at a scoping of my app migration project now. If I click on the little button that says Next within the effort calculator, this is really one of the nicest features behind AppDNA. It actually gives you the ability to scope out the application and the amount of effort it would require you to migrate your application library from a operating system, in this case, maybe it's Windows XP, to a new operating system, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, or whatever virtualization or app delivery technology you happen to be looking at. And the effort calculator can actually take in a bunch of variables. And the variables that we're looking at are all customizable by you. If you don't like the numbers that I'm using, you can actually put in your own numbers. How many hours you're going to be working, how many work days in a month, how many hours do you work in a day, how much money does a particular engineer cost per hour, how many hours of smoke testing, user acceptance testing are you going to be doing? If we're looking at an easy, medium, or hard remediation, how much time would you be looking at to fix that for the remediation process itself? And then based on all of the calculations that we have, we actually can come up with, and AppDNA can tell us, hey, listen, if you're using AppDNA, you're looking at a cost savings of about $8,000 and a total reduction in project time of 1 month. These are estimates, and this is the best effort calculator. But like I said, if I go to Edit and then down to Settings, and again, if you don't like the numbers that we're using here, you could go in under the Cost tab for the reporting category, and look at that. You can change all of those numbers. How many hours do you work per day? Well, I'm in marketing, so we'll say I work 3 hours per day. But yeah, you get the idea. You can change all of this information as far as cost per day for a tester, for a project manager, Wow, project managers make some good money, huh? Wow, maybe I should look into that. All right, so anyways, you can go in and you can change the cost and the effort calculator. Now, the reports that we really kind of want to dig into most, if I go to the overview summary, and again, I'm talking about the sample applications that I've imported already, and I've already run through the analyzer. And if I look at the overview summary for these applications, it's going to give me just what we call it, an overview summary of those apps. And this is where we start the red, the amber, the green process. And we're looking at the overview summary. And as you can see, the overview summary gives us just that, the overview of the app. So here I have my applications all listed out. And you can see probably what we're most interested in first and foremost is that red, amber, green application reporting status. So as we can see, and I know that this is what everybody drives to first, they jump right in. What applications are red? I want to know the red applications that we have. Oh, we actually do have a red application in this instance here. We have this HP Support Assistant. Now, that's just a red herring application that I've created for this. But you can see that, yep, lo and behold, there actually is a problem with this particular application against Windows 10, against Windows 7, against Windows 8, et cetera, et cetera. So we probably want to drill a little deeper into that. And because my target deployment method or my migration project is focused around Windows 10, I'll jump right into the Windows 10 reporting feature. So here we have Windows 10 on the left-hand side. You can see the different reports that we have available. We have the Windows 10 Application Issues report, where it does report to us, in fact, that we have one application that is red. We have 10 that are green, 9% red, 91% green, obviously. And if we go down a little bit further, we actually have some more details about this report that we're looking at here. And again, I know what everybody wants to see. First and foremost, they want to see which applications are red. So we scroll down, and here we have the red application, that HP Support Assist. If I look down a little bit further, though, I'm not going to drill into it quite yet, because if I drill down a little bit further, you can see the algorithm groups that AppDNA is using. Now, this may be interesting to some of you. It may not be interesting to some of you as well, but it does give us an idea of what are we looking at. We're testing things such as environmental settings. We're testing algorithms against drivers, deprecated components. Probably the number one leader to red indicators on an application as what Windows shell compatibility, session 0 isolation, if you remember what those are. User account control, because back in the days of Windows Vista, we introduced the idea of running in administrative mode. So these are just some of the algorithms that AppDNA uses to test against. If I look to my HP Support Assistant, I can actually look at and drill deeper into this application and see why it's red. And if there's a fix available, it should accept that or should suggest that fix to me. So here we have it right here. Green and automatic shim file match, okay, but if we look down, yeah, it looks like this one here for Windows 10 looks like it was failing against the user account control. So if I want to drill again deeper into that, then I'd scroll a little bit further down or click on the link here. That brings me down to the red category. What did it fail against? So it has an unelevated administrative executable user account control. So basically, like I said before, we're looking at an executable that's calling administrative function without requiring admin privileges. Now, this is important to note here. It says this will make the function call fail. Now, it will also go on to tell you that it may not fail in every instance, but there is the likelihood that the execution will fail, which means the app will fail when running on Windows 10. It gives me some suggested remediation here, possible alternative approaches, which one of them here is actually to deploy the application on Windows XP or Windows Server 2003. and then maybe in a virtualized environment such as XenApp or Zen Desktop. Surprising that AppDNA would suggest XenApp or Zen Desktop, same parent company, of course, same Platinum SKU. And it also goes on to say, hey, you should redevelop the app to include an embedded manifest. So in other words, the Windows XP, the Windows Server 2003 fix or remediation is more of a temporary fix, really, especially since XP and Server 2003 aren't supported by Microsoft anymore. Really, what you need to do is take this application, bring it back to the developer and say, hey, listen, this needs to be redeveloped. Here's the exact problem that we're having with it. It's calling it admin, it's running admin in admin mode, but not calling admin privileges. So it really gives you that exact detail about what, when, where, and how you can actually fix this application. Again, bringing your application migration projects to a much higher level than you were at when you migrated from XP to 7 or whatever your previous migration projects were. And you can see how this automation can really kick off and save you that time and save you man hours and save you monies, et cetera, et cetera. And now there are several different reports that are available here. Again, I'm looking at Windows 10 as my target destination, looking at the application issues. I could drill right into the application actions. And this is different ways that we look at the reporting information. And again, you know, when I go into the application actions section here, it shows me again what the application is, where, you know, the fact that it has in fact thrown a red error to me. And I drill again deeper into it and find out what caused the problem. And you can see it's just different ways to model the same patterns. I can have different views, but all the information is pretty much the same here. So AppDNA going in, changing, again, just in summary, going in, changing whatever you want your cost calculators to be if you're going to look at the effort calculator reporting capability. Going in and looking at the actual individual reports for your destination technology. I did not choose to look at XenApp. I didn't choose to look at AppV. That's why they're not listed here. But going in and actually finding out and drilling down into the weeds, line by line, what the actual issues would be. So now, switching back to the presentation, we can continue on with what we're discussing about for Win 10 migrations.